Williams owns a 10,000-mile pipeline that earns money whether you use it or not. It carries roughly 15% of every cubic foot of natural gas burned in America, and the AI boom is now paying it twice. This is the quiet monopoly hiding underneath the entire energy transition. Start here. Roughly 15% of all natural gas consumed in the United States flows through the pipes of a single company. Not Exxon, not Chevron, Williams. Every kitchen stove in Manhattan, every gas-fired power plant in Atlanta, every petrochemical complex on the Gulf Coast, 15% of that gas rides one system. It is called Transco. And Williams collects a fee on every molecule that moves. Here is the trick most investors miss. Williams does not bet on the price of gas. The price can crash. The price can spike. Williams does not really care. Transco is a federally regulated toll road. Shippers, utilities, power generators, LNG exporters sign long-term contracts and pay reservation fees just to hold capacity in the pipe. They pay whether or not they actually move any gas. That is the entire business model. The gas is the cargo. Williams owns the highway, 10,000 miles. That is the length of Transco's main line, running from South Texas and the offshore Gulf of Mexico straight up the eastern seaboard to the New York City metropolitan area. 60 compressor stations push the gas along it. 4 underground storage fields hold it for when demand spikes in January. 1 LNG facility. It is the single largest volume natural gas pipeline in the United States. And the permitting, the right-of-way, and the sheer capital required to replicate it have kept serious competitors away for decades. This chart is the setup. Top line, total revenue, wobbles. Fiscal 2022, $10.97 billion. 2023, $10.91. 2024, $10.5. 2025, $11.95. Revenue zigzagged with commodity prices and customer mix. Hold that bumpy picture in your head because the next chart is the one that actually matters. $7.75 billion. That is Williams' adjusted EBITDA for fiscal year 2025. A record. The 5th consecutive annual record, up 9% year over year. Net income, $2.615 billion, up 18%. Operating cash flow rose 19% to $5.9 billion. None of that required the price of natural gas to do anything in particular. Same window, different chart. This is adjusted EBITDA, the cash margin from those toll fees. Fiscal 2021, $5.64 billion. 2022, $6.42. 2023, $6.7. 2024, $7.75. 7.75. And the company's own 2026 guidance midpoint, $8.2 billion. Roughly 8% compounded annually for 5 straight years, right through a pandemic, an inflation shock, a commodity crash, and an aggressive rate hike cycle. Revenue zigzagged, earnings did not. That gap is the moat. Here is the counterintuitive part. While oil and gas producers spent the last 5 years getting battered around by price swings, Williams, the boring infrastructure name, quietly out-compounded most of them. The drillers take the risk. The pipeline takes the toll. Guess which business model investors should actually want to own? Then, this quarter happened. Q1 of fiscal 2026. Adjusted EBITDA, $2.254 billion. In a single quarter, a record, up 13% year over year. Management now expects the upper half of its $8.05 to $8.35 billion full-year guide. The acceleration has a name, data centers. And this is the quiet monopoly thesis in one sentence. The best businesses are not the ones in the headlines. They are the ones with the meter running underneath the headline. Williams does not build the AI models. It does not sell the GPUs. It does not even sell the electricity. It owns the pipe the electricity is made from. Every AI query routed through Northern Virginia is, at some level, paying a toll to a company most people have never heard of. That is what compounding in silence actually looks like. Loud companies sell stories. Quiet monopolies sell access. $3.1 billion. That is what Williams has committed to building behind-the-meter natural gas power plants directly on hyperscaler data center campuses. Not selling gas to a utility that sells power to a data center, selling power straight to the rack. The toll road just grew a last mile, and it ends inside the server room. Williams is no longer just renting space in the gas highway. It is selling electrons. Same business model, higher rung on the value chain. Look at the capacity stack. Transco's contracted transmission capacity hit a record 34.3 billion cubic feet per day in Q1 of 2025. Williams now has another 7.1 billion cubic feet per day of pipeline expansion projects in active execution, the largest organic backlog in company history. 1.6 of that is aimed directly at the Virginia data center corridor. And almost all of the backlog is already pre-contracted. The customers are paying before the steel is even in the ground. $2.10 per share. That is the 2026 annualized dividend, raised 5%. Dividend coverage ratio, 2.76 times. And Williams has paid a common stock dividend every single quarter since 1974. That is more than 50 years of uninterrupted checks funded by reservation fees on a pipe most Americans will never see. Through Reagan, through the dot-com bust, through the financial crisis, through COVID, every single quarter, a check. So here's the takeaway. The loudest companies sell the dream. The quietest companies sell the infrastructure the dream runs on top of. Williams does not need any specific AI startup to succeed. It needs the data centers to plug in. And they are plugging in by the gigawatt. The price of gas can go anywhere it likes. The meter keeps running. That is a quiet monopoly. If you want more teardowns that ignore the noise and follow the meter, subscribe to Quiet Monopoly. We do this every week.